Slutar du aldrig att fråga?
Nej. Jag slutar aldrig.
Ingmar Bergman is one of the most acclaimed directors of all time. Having directed movies like The Seventh Seal and Persona, Ingmar Bergman is known for his slow, abstract, and at times confusing style of making a film, focusing on characters and the despair that they're in. With a very extensive filmography, Bergman has captured many different types of characters and conflicts over the many years of his career. One of the most apparent themes in Ingmar Bergman's films, applying to films like The Seventh Seal, Cries and Whispers, Fanny and Alexander, and The Virgin Spring, is death. Before we discuss two previously named films, we gotta go into the person himself, Ingmar Bergman. Born in Uppsala, Sweden, Ingmar Bergman lived a long life from 1980 all the way to 2007, making him 89 years old, later dying on the island Faro, also in Sweden. Bergman was very much obsessed with many themes of his films, but especially with the theme of death, often mixing it with the bleakness of existential philosophy. Many of his characters might not have it physically from time to time, but mentally they are in agony. Ingmar Bergman was always scared of death, but at the same time fearlessly accepted that the end of life was coming, especially in his later years. Having built up such a legacy, Bergman, in a way, will live on forever. With inspiring an enormous amount of people, he will never be forgotten. He will live on forever. His life wasn't the easiest, not in as much pain as his characters, but it symbolizes him in many ways. But he kept on going, always looking at the world in a stoic way, not caring about the pain that was brought upon him. As he once said, "We make each other alive. It doesn't make a difference if it hurts." In Cries and Whispers, Bergman portrays death in a realistic and literal sense. Agnes, one of the protagonists, is dying of cancer, while her sisters are going through psychological pains to help her. Maria is racked with guilt at her husband's suicide, caused by his discovery of her extramarital affair. The self-loathing, suicidal Karen seems to regard her sister with revulsion. Only Anna, the deeply religious maid who lost her young child, seems to be able to offer Agnes solace and empathy. Focusing in 4 chapters on every single sister, showing their struggles, Bergman is real, simple, and blatant in this film, straight to the point. This girl is dying of cancer, and he shows you the bloody, painful details, portraying her suffering in an extremely explicit way. His approach here is to scare you, show you the dark side, trying to scare and disturb the viewer, but also to harden up the viewer, preparing him or her for what is to come. In The Seventh Seal, arguably together with Persona his most beloved work, Bergman shows us death in an absurd and abstract form, specifically as a manifestation of Max van Sydow. Here, Knight Antonius Block returns to his home, which is right now dying in the hands of the plague, and he challenges death himself to a match of chess for his life. Antonius is a man who does not believe in God, in a way not fearing death. Throughout the story, Antonius avoids the manifestation of death to do a few more redemptive acts before his final passing, when he loses against him in chess. In this way, Bergman shows his acceptance of death rather than his fear, telling the viewer to do most out of the time they have on this planet. A big part of the movie is the comedy, which is sprinkled throughout the story of the many already humorous characters. Bergman shows his own doubt about God, making fun of death itself. While he is portrayed in a menacing, dark appearance, the thought of death himself being an old man in a black suit is rather absurd.
Och lockar döden till ett parti schack. Ty innan han dör vill han ha gjort en enda meningsfull handling.
Both films are mainly about death, but both drastically different. One is making you feared of death, in eternal sadness and agony, as you will have to leave this planet, while the other film is wanting to make you feel a bit more lighthearted about death, not taking things too seriously. Through both of these movies, Ingmar Bergman tells us the only thing that he cannot be certain of in life, which is death.
Och för att den lilla familjen ska hinna rädda sig undan döden